Welcome back to the video. So after the whole multi-live debacle where the entire room shut down, and with the recent addition of the Gochi Usa Bloom collab, which you can go check out the guide made by Twintail down below in the description, we're going to get to something that I kind of delayed on while I was busy with the combo circuit, and that is the current event that is going on, which is Happy Summer Splash. Now, this is a little bit of a different event. This is pretty much the same standard poker event, but there is a new caveat. So what's different overall of this poker event is that this one is going to have special extra bets. Now, this extra bets are going to happen with the current characters that happen here. So for example, you have Rinku and Ray shown over here, and then you will also have Rinku and Muni for extra bets, and this will be very good for your bet coins overall. So this is kind of a little bit of some summary of what's changed for the poker event, but other than that, it's pretty much the standard overall poker event. Going back to this though, we are going to go talk about specifically the gacha in this. We're going to be focusing a lot more on the gacha in this. So we're going to go start off with Tropical Ice Candy Maho Akashi. Now this one has a total of 34,357 with 6,941 hearts, 16,592 technique, and 10,824 physical. So what's actually going to be very important specifically in this event when we get to potentially team building is going to be that it is technical, and this kind of carries over from the previous events, which is the one that I was tiering. It's going to be a lot more focused on technicals, so if you want to go save those Groovy discs, you can definitely go check it out when you go to units and characters. So for example, I put all my stuff on Noah. So if you can see, like here I have a technical, and I have some more Groovy discs as well. I'm not going to spend it just yet because I am waiting for potentially another event that's going to be super impactful later on. Hopefully it does come to the English server, but there's something there if you want to go try to spend your Groovy disc. So going back to this card, this one also has, for the skill stats, has 5 to 9 seconds with a 40 score up, 40%, and 15% perfect. Now it's no heal, but this is kind of the usual standard we've gone through in the 4 stars department. The main Spotlight 4 stars don't really focus on heal as much, but instead decide to have more benefit with having a lot more perfect notes. And this is going to be very important, especially for your gameplay, as we mentioned in the previous event guides. So the next one is Splash Shower Ray Togetsu. Now this one has 34,610 power with a focus on technique with 14,972. This one is kind of the similar stats that Maho has with 5 second and 9 second, and score up of 40% plus 15% when you hit perfect notes. So if you really want to focus this event, even though we're kind of thoroughly in the middle of this, you can try to go get this Ray Togetsu, and it's going to be super very important if you really want to go try to get those areas. Now the big thing also about this event is that this event does have dailies, so if you go get this like immediately out of the gate, when you go pull in your gacha right now, you'll be able to go use her to your very good benefit. Next up, we get the 3-star in the gacha, which is Sailing Dolphin Muni Onarto. You get 27,428, so thoroughly small, but still pretty good technique around in the 5 digits, and that's better because if you take a look at the Rinku over here, it's kind of better, but I'd say this Muni is still pretty good, especially though since this is a happy round event, you do want to try to focus on those happy round characters. And this one does have heal, but it does only have a score up of 25%. Again, the 4 stars that we're noticing in the themes of recent event guides is that they really like to focus on no heal, but a lot of score up. This is kind of the case where in this one and the Rinku gacha we're going to be looking at are kind of in the same boat. And speaking of the Rinku gacha, we have the event 3-star, which you can go claim from these coin overall. And it is Sandy Beach Ball Riku Ayamoto. Now this is 27,382 and a skill of 5 second and 9 second, 25%, and heal 200 with a pretty solid overall technique. This one's actually better technique. I was actually really surprised when I go take a look at this first. This was actually it's overall a better one than Muni's 190. So this is actually a card you can really splash around, and I definitely recommend getting this, not just for the event, but for potential future attributes. So we're focusing on the street attribute, but this is overall very good if you want to go try to focus on that. Then we get to the main areas, which are the street cards. So of course you've already seen that, but we can go take a look at the specifically, if you remember the guide that I made of the fireworks event from Photon Maiden, you can definitely use their cards to their benefit. Then we also have a birthday Rinku. I believe this was given. This did release June 30th, so if you pulled for birthday Rinku, this will be a very good card for you. And this is also very good to have because this also has double bonuses, and I always focus on bonuses in my event guides. This is something you can definitely splash on. Another thing I can also take a look at is the Saturday of Falling Cherry Blossom Gacha, which this one I believe is from transfer only, but if you did transfer in from the Japanese server, these cards will be thoroughly super important. Birthday Mew as well, if you transfer Birthday Mew from the Japanese server. And what's also very good is that if you also had that Maids Gacha back then and transferred in, this will be working as well in your benefit. So these are kind of like those thorough cards. Fun fact, actually, if you also notice, the last event had this Shinobu specifically, and if you just got this from the exchange, you're free to use it, and that's very good, especially to get that street focus. It's PvP, which you don't kind of want that like half bonus such, but if you do want to try to splash and you don't have really any other things to fill in, the Shinobu will actually be in your favor. It also has a 28,774, which is very good. And these are kind of like the standards. You have your this is from the first event actually, so all of this. So I actually, what's funny about this, I actually have this card, but I'm not putting this Saki. Actually, I think I did put the Saki on my team because I did want that extra street, but pretty much those are the overall cards that you want to focus on. There's also some initials like this initial hero, this initial Sari, which is like one of the best support cards that you can have. This Toa, which is actually on my team right now, and then you also have this Shinobu, who's not specifically on my team, which is kind of weird. If you don't actually have this Shinobu, you can just get the one from the last event where you can exchange it for, which I talked about earlier. And then there's also some of these other stuff like these 4 stars as well. This 4-star Rinku, and then you got some of your more 3 stars, which is the initial Kurumi, initial Rika, initial Saki. These are a lot of the 3 stars that you can definitely get if you go get to the 10 pulls, because there's going to be a lot of 10 pulls heading into soon. So definitely that. So that's pretty much what I can recommend here. The last thing I'm going to be talking about, I'm just going to go a little bit brief on this one because this was kind of a little bit straightforward, but happy round cards are just very good to have. So if you have some of those happy round cards, then that's going to be super important for adding into your team. So now let's get actually to the team building aspect of a recommended team that I am going to be using on this. So I have this team. Now this does not look good on paper, but I think what's going to be very important is kind of have some nice power buffs, like as you see the Sari, which is one of the best support cards, 35,025. Using this, which is 33,475, a little bit lower, but still very good on this. And I'm kind of going a little bit more of a Photon Maiden sense, if you get my drift. I decided not to go Happy Round one because I don't really have any good Happy Round street cards, but this is potentially a good avenue that you can go start with. And that's pretty much it actually for the events itself and the gacha specifically. This event is going to be ending on September 5th at 1 AM Pacific Daylight Time, 7:59 UTC, according to this as you see. And this is pretty much your standard poker event, excluding the fact that you get extra bets, but you can always utilize the exchange, of course, and try to go get this stuff right here. It's funny because I actually don't have this Rinku. I was going to add this Rinku later on, but there's actually a lot of aesthetics that you can grab here from this poker event exchange, and I definitely go recommend that. The other cards are this Rei Tagetsu, which is from the New Year's, which is very cool that they're doing this. And there's also this Yuka as well. And these are just different attributes, but could play into factor for future events. That's pretty much it for the entire video. Thank you all for joining in. Continue to embrace the darkness, and we will see you all in the next video.